It's no secret that Indigenous people are overrepresented in the prison system around Australia.
More than 30 years after the Royal Commission into Aboriginal deaths in custody, rates of incarceration of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people, men, women and young people, are a national shame.
In a move to reduce these numbers and provide a more suitable alternative in certain circumstances, the people of the Groote Archipelago now have more control over sentencing outcomes for local offenders, including the alternatives to custody facility or healing centre for young men aged between 17 and 25, which will provide culturally appropriate, community-based residential rehabilitation on country as an alternative to imprisonment in Darwin. It's the second of its kind in the NT and is due to open in March 2024. Back in 2022, the NT government and the opposition signed the Aboriginal Justice Agreement in support of improving justice outcomes for Aboriginal people in the Territory.
This agreement is a culmination of over 160 consultations territory-wide. The Aboriginal Justice Agreement is a lasting document that will survive well and truly past any political cycle here in the Northern Territory to deliver a fairer, better and more equal justice system.
It's really important on issues like this agreement that there is bipartisan support, and it's always been my view that the Aboriginal Justice Agreement is necessary, and as much as strong laws and strong sentencing is an important issue for the community and for the CLP, so is things like alternative sentencing options.
One of the key principles and aims is around supporting Aboriginal leadership. So through some of the practical areas that we're focused on with the Aboriginal Justice Agreement is the delivery of law and justice community groups and also community courts.
It's important that TOs, Aboriginal culture and law is very much right in the mix of all of these decisions about where do we go with our future and what do we hope for our young people.
There's already work happening which is focused on Anadiliakwa youth between the years of 17 and 25 years of age, which has seen some fantastic work that is community-led, community-driven, and we're getting some great results. It's something up to about 90% drop in youth crime. This is something our legal community had called for. It is something that our judiciary wants to make sure that we have the consequences for actions that meet the community expectation, keep our communities safe, but also reduce the incarceration rates through detention.
The takeaway message from the Council is that full consultation with the communities, traditional owners, elders and lawmakers in justice reinvestment is key to the success of this new national initiative. The implementation of the Aboriginal Justice Agreement has now provided 3 significant initiatives for the Groote Archipelago. These include the launch of an Alternatives to Custody residential facility, a community court and law and justice group towards reducing offending and imprisonment rates, engaging and supporting Aboriginal leadership and improving local justice responses and services.
Well, they said it when we did the consultations for the Justice Agreement, but they've said it, the local community here. We want the programs in language. We want people to have the programs delivered by local Aboriginal people that they have a relationship with. We want it to be on country because your obligations and responsibility is attached to this place. We want to see in front of us justice being served and delivered. And that's exactly what the community court does and the healing centre. They need to understand how the system works and what's needed to fix it. You've got Aboriginal people willing to take up leadership positions, mentor roles and more and take responsibility. That's exactly what we're asking for in the major centres in the Territory. This community's put up their hand well before we came on board and said we're going to do it. They've delivered it. And if you want to save the taxpayers' money, if you don't want the prison population to grow, invest in these alternatives to custody and let Aboriginal people shine and be the true leaders that they are and work alongside them to deliver what's so crucially needed in the Territory. Community don't want people on drugs. They don't want their kids in child protection. They don't want their kids in the justice system. You know, you've got to sit down and really listen to what Aboriginal people have to say, and when you do that, you get the results. And I can see the results reducing the population or the crime in communities by a minimum of 30% within 2 years, at the minimum cost as to what it costs for a person in prison. And that person is then able to look after their kids that are in child protection. They're not getting sick, they're not, you know, in prison, they're not walking the streets in town, they're on community. This is such a great initiative, it benefits everybody.
Local decision making, like for the Groote Archipelago, for Wanna-Mammalia people, Tony Wurramurraba, the major architect for Groote Island, negotiating with Territory Government, negotiating with all people around the rights for Wanna-Mammalia, for Groote Island people to stand up and to be counted and to take back control for the things that are important for them.
The community is ready to embrace this journey that shows a shift in the way decisions are made within our communities and the way our court systems is conducted. The Community Justice Group, in partnership with the local authorities, shares a commitment to empowering the members of our community and participate in shaping the future of Eylandt people. By working with the Community Justice Group, the Eylandt Land Council and traditional owners, we acknowledge the importance of upholding cultural values while adapting to changing needs of today's society. Together, let us celebrate the milestone.
We feel like we're working together and helping each other for the future to go on and bringing our people home from the prison. This is the first time I'm very proud of myself to be working with the Justice Group.
The reason why we just built this facility because we actually want to bring our people from Darwin to come back here and do their time on their land.
The main focus of that is to get people out of mainstream prisons and getting our local people back home into a facility that isn't covered by barbed wire. It's a facility that is run in a very culturally appropriate way and manner.
Our program is for males that are over the age of 18 and that are at risk of interactions with the judicial system. They must have a connection to the Eylandt, and that will be confirmed through the Justice Group.
It's a good thing to be here because when they're in prison, they've forgotten their culture. In prison only they're learning about their life in prison.
So what the program actually does is it provides a space where people can come and self-explore, connect to culture, connect to country, and really map out what do I want to do with myself? What changes do I want to make? How can I improve myself? And how can I support and give back to the community?
The special thing around this is the law, the justice and the rehabilitation. We've got an influence now around local government. We've got an influence now around the policies and procedures around how this island is going to develop health, housing and education and the law, justice, rehabilitation aspects and how that fits in with community. I hope that one day other communities can come and visit and learn from what Eylandt people have been able to establish here and develop, that they can take back to their own communities.
This is the first time we've been put this healing centre here in Groote Island, and I'm so proud for the three communities to share.
This is the time where our community members now have a voice through the Community Justice Group. It's best to deal with Community Justice Group, where we can be heard or take notice of. Secondly, our elders will be able to sit on the community court and help the judge on sentencing local offenders. It has taken us, as people of this archipelago, so many fights, so many hurdles to get back the law and justice system back onto the island. Now, when I say law and justice system, according to my white Islander people system, that was brought upon us as people living here on the archipelago. We've got our own justice system here. And it worked. You offended, you mucked up, you get spared. But that was taken away from us. According to your Islander system, we used to give discipline to our children here. That was taken away from us. You discipline a child, I end up in front of the magistrate, in front of the court. That was taken away from us. I live my life according to my father's law, my grandfather's law. My next fight is getting back the control back to my community. It's no secret. Getting back the control to my people, where they can make decisions here on the island. For so long we have seen our young people traveling back and forth to the prison system. We didn't have much to say there. That was a broken model for us. Until now, we now have systems in place where we can fix the problem. We are not celebrating something new. We are celebrating something that we had for the past 60,000 years onwards.
Today we're celebrating the first community justice group operational. They are absolutely a model for jurisdictions across Australia and across the Northern Territory to look at that successful delivery. Involving First Nations Territorians into decisions is crucial if we want to see a reduction in antisocial behaviour and better justice responses for First Nations Territorians. It is absolutely imperative that we continue to talk to the community and the wider non-Indigenous community around what we're talking about when we're talking about the appropriate justice responses. It is absolutely disgraceful that members of the Federal Parliament use traditional payback as a tool to scaremonger and fear people. This is absolutely not what we are talking about. Every consequence that is being delivered through this program is in line with international human rights declarations and making sure that those are the appropriate sentences in place. So there is a strong message for those that go out into our community and fearmonger about tribal law and severe punishment. Shame on you, that is absolutely disgraceful. This is an opportunity to work with us to make sure that we can include Aboriginal voices and solutions to change the justice system, to reduce the overcapacity of people in our correctional centres and in the justice pipeline. This is about making sure that we work with people. And the important thing is, absolutely, every community is different. Aboriginal people are not homogenous people. We vary from our communities, we vary in our aspirations, and we will vary in what we think is an appropriate option at the time of sentencing. That's why we have developed the legislation in a manner that is broad but yet comprehensive, and that allows the judge to work with that community justice group to make sure that they are appropriate sentences, that they are delivering what they need to, and that there's the appropriate mechanisms for people to receive development opportunities to better their life and to better the outcomes of them not going on to reoffend.
It's still the same Sentencing Act, so we still use all the same powers. There's no additional sentences that we give. But what is different is that the community will come up with some of the solutions that they think are going to work for that person and for the community.
It's really important here, particularly in Groote Island and Bickerton Island as part of the archipelago, that we do see those strong voices elevated to the highest level. As Chancey said, something our Territory Labor Government has been formally committed to, both in policy and now in legislation, to enshrine those voices, to enshrine that protection of leadership so decision making can withstand the political cycles and the waves that Aboriginal people have been riding for decades and decades. We passed the Sentencing Act, the reforms and the amendments last year to ensure that we have the community sentencing provisions, that we will see our local community justice groups have a big part and basically be the lead role and the lead decision makers in providing those options for the judiciary to look at court sentencing.
Today is a very historical day for us. It's finally bringing what we fought for all those years ago, giving us the control back to the people. Because we know how to live our lives, we know how to control our children, and have a better future for our grandchildren. Now with the community healing center, it will do wonders. It will get the young ones on track. Have elders out there with them, show them the path, give them ideas, but also give them a little responsibility. Because that little bit of responsibility, it will go a long way.